With a flick of his divine consciousness, he recalled the gorilla demon and entered the divine dragon ring. He did not want the other experts to know about the fall of the gorilla demon. Otherwise, his opponents would come looking for him in droves. Looking at the quiet dragon valley, Little White transformed into its true form and quickly collected the storage bags and treasures of all the experts. Li Lingtian pondered for a moment before he took the storage pouch from Little White. Finally, he led Tang Qingyue and Little White into the Lost Forest with Long Da following closely behind. After entering the Lost Forest, Li Lingtian's first priority was to find a safe place. Li Lingtian scanned his surroundings when he arrived at the top of a mountain. His divine consciousness was not suppressed at this place, but Long Da was greatly suppressed. Even Little White was suppressed. Because they were all demons in human form, they would naturally be suppressed here. Long Da's cultivation was only suppressed to the 4th or 5th level of the Supreme Realm. However, with the strength of the demon race, he was not afraid of the 7th or 8th level of the Supreme Realm. The Lost Forest was a boundless forest, just like a sea of trees. Moreover, the spiritual energy inside was extremely dense, and there was also a dense fog. Li Lingtian was certain that this place was similar to Hidden Dragon Valley. After scanning the area with his spirit sense, there was not a single demon beast or human. He didn't know where those powerful warriors and demon beasts had gone. I didn't expect this place to not separate people. This is not bad. Tang Qingyue looked around and was excited about this place. With such spiritual energy, even if she couldn't obtain any treasures, she could still cultivate. She had never been worried when she was with Li Lingtian. In her eyes, there was nothing Li Lingtian could not solve when he was around, even though the gorilla demon had fallen. Now we have to follow the guidance in this dragon soul jade to the deepest part. Li Lingtian took out the dragon soul jade and kept it away when he opened the Lost Forest. He really believed that the Dragon Soul Jade still had some use in the Lost Forest. Only the Dragon Soul Jade could activate some important mechanisms. He also understood that after this, the Dragon Soul Jade would completely disappear, and would not be of any use in the future. With the guidance of the Dragon Soul Jade, we can search for herbs and treasures while walking inside. Isn't this better? After all, the Lost Forest won't be closed again. Big brother, don't walk so fast. Sister Qingyue, don't you think so? Little White tilted its head and looked at Li Lingtian with a pout. However, when it saw Li Lingtian walking forward, it shouted loudly. As it spoke, it did not forget to form an alliance with a friend. Yes, I am. Lingtian, you went to Hidden Dragon Island last time, but I haven't been there. Don't be in a hurry to go to the depths this time. We can still make it if we walk while looking for medicinal herbs. Tang Genji's lips moved slightly as a smile appeared on her face. She followed Little White's lead and joined forces. With the two of them working together, it was only natural that they could convince Li Lingtian. Sister Qingyue, are you also messing around with this girl? Sai, I'm really impressed by the two of you. Is this the exclusive right of beautiful women? Li Lingtian took 2 steps back and came to Tang Genji's side. He spoke softly and sighed in the end. That's more like it. We are beauties and little girls. You have to protect us. Tang Qingyue could not hold back her laughter when she saw Li Lingtian's expression. The two girls chattered nonstop as they held Li Lingtian's hand and sandwiched him between them. Li Lingtian could only enjoy the pain. Both of them were peerless beauties, but they were chattering nonstop. He could only listen and had no right to resist. The three of them strolled in front of him while Long Da scanned the surroundings with his divine sense. Naturally, he would not disturb Li Lingtian. The group did not encounter any danger, neither humans nor demonic beasts. A day had passed. Long Da was here as a servant, constantly searching for a cave in front. Li Lingtian had spent a lot of time with the powerhouses from the House of Storms and was getting tired. He needed a good rest for a few days. When night fell, Li Lingtian and the rest finally found a cave. The cave was not big, only about 20 square meters in size. However, it was dry and airy, making it suitable for living. Li Lingtian cast a concealment formation to cover the cave's exterior. Long Da found a relatively secluded place to rest within the formation. This way, if anyone were to see through the formation, it would be able to deliver a fatal blow to the other party at once. At the entrance, Li Lingtian set up a few simple formations and the three of them entered the cave. No matter where a girl went, be it an inn or the wilderness, she would care about where she lived. In a short while, the cave was cleaned up. Countless colorful cloth strips made the cave look like a girl's boudoir. You guys sleep first. I'll cultivate first. Li Lingtian sat on the blanket that Tang Qingyue had laid out and looked at Tang Qingyue and Little White. To save space, Tang Qingyue and Little White had placed their blankets together. Upon seeing this, Li Lingtian was infuriated. Although Little White was a dragon, it was a dragon lady after its transformation. A noble dragon lady like Ji with unparalleled beauty. Even though Xiaobai was usually a little mischievous and the two of them were very close, they did not sleep together. There was no need to mention Tang Qingyue. Back in the ancient battlefield ruins, she and Huang Fuyian were together. Although the three of them were close, there was still a little distance between them. The three of them weren't squeezed together like this. Wasn't this making his blood boil? Moreover, Tang Qingyue was a peerless beauty as cold as an iceberg. Although she was gentle in front of Li Lingtian, she was definitely a beauty as cold as an iceberg in front of outsiders. Now that they were living together, it felt a little ambiguous, mainly because she was Mengming's sister. Yes, I'm a little tired. You can cultivate. But don't be too late. On the other hand, Tang Qingyue was unusually obedient like a well-behaved baby. This was the first time Li Lingtian had seen such a situation. If the powerhouses were to witness this icy beauty being so gentle to Li Lingtian, their jaws would drop. Her tone was like a wife who cared about her husband. Li Lingtian's heart warmed at once. You have to join the group to get a red packet. Chapter 402 Late Night. Chapter 402 Late Night. Li Lingtian did not say a word as he closed his eyes and began cultivating. He was definitely the first person in the Lost Forest who dared to take a nap like them. Even those martial emperor powerhouses did not have the guts to do so. After all, the Lost Forest was filled with danger. If they were not careful, they would die. Moreover, martial artists would not sleep in an unfamiliar environment, especially at night. As nighttime was the world of the demonic beasts, only Li Lingtian had the courage and strength to do so in such a place. The rich spiritual energy made one excited when cultivating. After 2 cycles, he felt that the true essence in his body had increased quite a bit. For a martial honored realm powerhouse like Li Lingtian, the increase in his cultivation base was negligible. However, it was still an increase in his cultivation base. No matter how powerful a warrior was, his cultivation base was cultivated bit by bit. After 2 cycles of cultivation, Li Lingtian looked at the 2 beauties sleeping on the blanket. Although it was a little cold in the cave, the 2 ladies had removed their muslin and did not cover themselves with the blanket. Li Lingtian could not see anything, but this only made him more enticed. Li Lingtian's chest heaved up and down with his even breathing, which made him feel a little angry. Moreover, the situation before him made his blood boil. Tang Qingyue and Little White's bed was not big, but the 2 girls were sleeping on both sides. The space left in the middle was obviously for Li Lingtian. Such a small matter was enough to make him excited. However, he did not think too much about it. He took off his outer clothes lightly and lay down in the middle. Feeling the refreshing body fragrance of the 2 peerless beauties beside him, his body could not help but react, but he could only endure it now. Not long after he fell asleep, Tang Qingyue turned around and grabbed Li Lingtian's arm before placing it under her head. She used Li Lingtian's arm as a pillow. Li Lingtian did not mind as it did not matter. However, Little White on the left did the same thing. It pulled Li Lingtian's left hand over and used it as a pillow. Even if Li Lingtian was a fool, he would have understood the trick the 2 of them were playing. However, he didn't react or say anything. If he had to say such a small thing, he really wasn't a man. Gradually, Li Lingtian fell asleep as he smelled the fragrance of the 2 peerless beauties. The next morning, Li Lingtian woke up to find 2 beauties in his arms. Even though a warrior who cultivated was not afraid of the cold, the night in the mountains was still a little cold. Girls instinctively sought a warm place to lean on. Li Lingtian's arm was bent over as well. The 2 girls were already in his arms and one of their legs was still on his body. This erotic scene almost made him vomit blood. However, he didn't want the two girls to wake up and feel shy, so he could only pretend to be asleep. However, it was useless for him to pretend to be asleep. The two of them had woken up and naturally saw the sleeping positions of the three of them. Immediately, the two of them blushed. Even though she wanted to get close to Li Lingtian, she was still extremely shy since it was her first time being so close. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. Yes. Tang Qingyue gave a soft hum and buried her head in Li Lingtian's arms. She dared not look at him. On the other hand, Little White was shy for a moment before she quickly calmed down. The two of them had been in a relationship for a long time, so they naturally did not care about these things. After all, the two of them had gotten closer recently. Although Tang Qingyue was close to Li Lingtian, she was Li Lingtian's sister-in-law. Hence, she kept a certain distance from him. Chapter 403 Chapter 403 Dragon Saliva Fruit 1. Chapter 403 Dragon Saliva Fruit 1. In the deep forest far away, countless trees had turned into ashes. Ice attacks froze the world together, followed by fire attacks that turned everything into nothingness. When ice and fire met, even if there was no hatred between them, the ice and fire were definitely incompatible. Yu Pingji, hand over the ancient language grass in your hand, and I can spare your life. Lu Wenqing's fire-type heaven weapon kept breaking the opponent's attacks. The second Heaven Martial Emperor was suppressing the first Heaven Martial Emperor's attacks. Their attributes were against each other. Moreover, they had encountered a good medicinal herb now. Naturally, they would not give up. Lu Wenqing, do you think you can defeat me just because you're at the second heaven of the Martial Emperor realm? Yu Pingji was also complaining in his heart. He had not seen his old rival for many years. He did not expect that his old rival had reached the second level of the Martial Emperor realm, while he was still at the first level of the Martial Emperor realm. This first level of the Martial Emperor realm could be considered to have come to an end. He naturally couldn't take out the ancient language grass that he had just obtained. Then let's give it a try. Blazing Sun Myriad Das. Lu Wenqing waved the heaven artifact in his hand, and the temperature of the world suddenly rose. The surrounding trees and even the boulders quickly melted. One could imagine how terrifying the temperature was. Immediately after, countless terrifying flames flew towards Yu Pingji at an extremely fast speed. In the blink of an eye, they arrived in front of Yu Pingji. Frozen heaven and earth. Ice curtain. Yu Pingji was shocked. He did not expect Lu Wenqing, who was at the second level of the Martial Emperor realm, to have such a cultivation base. He also had a heaven weapon, but it was still far inferior to Lu Wenqing, who was at the second level of the Martial Emperor realm. Rumble. Kacha. With a loud explosion, the two attacks collided. Yu Pingji's figure was thrown into the air, and finally fell to the ground with a pale face. If it was a battle between experts of the same level, they would not be defeated so easily. However, although the two of them were of the same realm, their levels were different. No matter how powerful a level 1 expert was, they would still fail when facing a level 2 expert. There was only one Li Lingtian in this world, and there were not many perverted powerhouses. Just as Yu Pingji fell to the ground, Lu Wenqing, who was at the second heaven of the Martial Emperor realm, spat out a mouthful of blood. Yu Pingji was shocked by this situation. He was the one who was injured, but he didn't expect Lu Wenqing to be injured as well. He was sure that he wasn't the one who injured Lu Wenqing. Lu Wenqing turned around and looked at the sky in horror. There was no one in the sky. Who is it? Come out. What kind of hero is a sneak attack? Come out if you have the guts. Lu Wenqing clutched his chest. The attack from behind him had been soundless. When he was injured, he did not know what was going on. Now streams of icy qi were surging in his body, constantly consuming his fire martial spirit and Zhan Yuan. Encountering such a thing, he definitely knew how terrifying the person was. Moreover, the person's talent was also his nemesis, the ice element. Otherwise, he would not have such terrifying ice true energy. You were the one who asked me to come out. At this moment, a calm voice sounded. As the voice fell, a destructive attack ruthlessly bombarded down. Ice Fire 9 Heavens, Extinction. The destructive aura carried the shadow of death. The moment death and destruction appeared, an extermination aura appeared. This aura made even martial emperor powerhouses feel a trace of despair. Rumble! The destructive light beam struck Lu Wenqing's body so fast that he could not react at all. Lu Wenqing's body was blasted to the ground with a loud explosion. If it were not for the physique of a martial emperor, he would have vanished into thin air. Generally speaking, it would take time to use a skill above the earth rank, even if it was a powerful expert, unless the skill was cultivated to the extreme and the state of perfection. Although Li Lingtian's heavenly divine powers had not reached the perfection state or the ultimate state, they were not far from the ultimate state. The heaven-tier divine power that he used was instantly cast and was at his fingertips. This was absolutely heaven-defying. Just this move alone was enough to gain a huge advantage. Experts of the same rank competed in speed, weapons, talent, martial souls, and the right time, place, and people. Warriors with the same cultivation base had a lot of advantages in terms of speed. It was the same for high-grade weapons. There was no need to talk about talent. If a fire martial soul encountered a water martial soul, then the fire martial soul would basically be restrained. There were also various other factors such as the right time, the right place, and the right people. These were all things that a martial artist needed to pay attention to. Often, a very powerful expert would be defeated by a martial artist who was slightly weaker than him. To have a shocking cultivation, one had to have a shocking amount of experience. Li Lingtian had not even revealed his face in the previous attack, when he unleashed the third heaven of ice, fire, 9 heavens. His opponent did not even have the chance to react. Martial artists were not gods. Even if they were gods, they would be killed if they were not prepared. For example, no matter how strong you were, you would still be killed if you didn't have any defense. If the other party slashed you with a machete and you didn't block it, you would definitely be killed. If you blocked it, it would be defense. Lu Wenqing fell to the ground and spat out another mouthful of blood. This attack took half of Lu Wenqing's life. Fortunately, the martial monarch realm expert was born with a strong physique. He used his defense at the last minute and saved his life. You're Li Lingtian. Lu Wenqing looked at the young man in white who walked out unhurriedly, and his eyes were filled with fear. All the powerhouses in the House of Storms knew Li Lingtian. They did not expect him to be alive here, and they were instantly in despair. Young noble Lingtian, I've heard a lot about you. Yu Pingji was shocked as well. Although he had never met Li Lingtian before, he was extremely famous. He had even messed with several of the Azure Continent's superpowers. Dishi family was wiped out, and so was House of Storms. The young man's reputation had spread throughout the entire Tsong continent. There was no force or warrior in the Tsong continent who did not fear Li Lingtian. He did not expect to see Li Lingtian at this time. He was lucky that Li Lingtian had hidden himself the last time he came in. Otherwise, he would not have been able to get away with 1 billion spiritual stones. Now that Li Lingtian had beaten a second-level martial emperor half to death with a single blow, he was even more shocked and quickly cupped his fists in greeting. There's nothing for you to do here. Li Lingtian waved his hand. He could not be bothered to befriend these people. If one was not strong enough, they would not care even if one was a martial supreme. If one was strong enough, they would respect and fear one. This was the rule of this world. Then I shall take my leave. Yu Pingji wasn't unhappy at all. He felt more like he was lucky. His body flashed and he quickly flew into the distance. Usually, if he met a Supreme Realm expert, he would be respectful when he saw him. Unlike this young man in front of him, the other party ignored him when he greeted him and waved him away. But now that he was asked to leave, he felt as if he had been pardoned and escaped. Didn't you call me out? With a smile on his face, Li Lingtian walked toward Lu Wenqing step by step. His eyes were cold and emotionless. Humph, don't be so smug. When the time comes, my House of Storms will chase you to the ends of the earth. Lu Wenqing still didn't know that dozens of super experts of the House of Storms had been killed. He thought that the experts like Old Man Tianyin were still alive. If he knew that Old Man Tianyin and the others had been killed, he didn't know what kind of cousins he would have. Oh, is Kanglin building very powerful? Why didn't I feel it? Look at this. Li Lingtian smiled and extended his hand. A palm-sized jade pendant appeared in his hand. It was crystal clear with the words House of Storms carved on it. On the other side there was a title of Lord Kama. Ah! Rumble. Seeing this jade pendant, Lu Wenqing felt as if he had seen a ghost. He would be a fool if he didn't understand it now. He couldn't be more familiar with this token. The token of the House of Storms, supremacy, was also the token of the House of Storms' supreme ruler. Since this token was in Li Lingtian's hands, it meant that the House of Storms' elder Tianyin had fallen, along with the others. While he was still in shock, Li Lingtian waved his hand. Longda knew what was going on as well. They coordinated seamlessly, and a destructive fist with a tearing demonic force slammed into Lu Wenqing's body. There was a loud explosion and the sound of blood spurting out. Lu Wenqing's eyes darkened and his vitality gradually disappeared. Humph! Kanglan House wiped them all out. Li Lingtian grabbed with one hand and a storage pouch and a celestial weapon returned to his hand. Without even looking at them, he stored them into the divine dragon ring. Then he turned around and led Tang Qingyue and Little White into the distance. Longda followed behind him like a log. Although he looked like a block of wood, he was very shrewd in the lost forest. As long as there was any movement, he would send out a destructive blow, killing the danger in the cradle. This was his duty as a subordinate. When Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue were intimate, he had to pretend that he did not see anything. He was a demon and had no interest in human affairs at all. He was only interested in cultivating and becoming powerful. However, he knew that he had to follow Li Lingtian if he wanted to become stronger. As long as Li Lingtian was happy and gave him some pills, a day's progress in his cultivation would be equivalent to his achievements in a year or even decades. The three of them walked while admiring the scenery. They were extremely happy. In such a place they were definitely the first to be so relaxed. Along the way, Li Lingtian did not know how many powerhouses from the House of Kanglan he had eliminated. In total, there were at most a dozen powerhouses from the House of Kanglan that had yet to be dealt with. The few of them specially looked for places with dense spiritual qi to walk around. That way they would be able to see precious medicinal herbs. She might even encounter some spirit fruits. The search for spirit fruits had become the most fun thing for Tang Qingyue. She was never tired of it. Lingtian, look! Tang Qingyue exclaimed excitedly. Li Lingtian was also extremely curious. Normally, Tang Qingyue would not be this excited even if she saw a spirit fruit. He wondered what she had seen this time. As he looked in the direction Tang Qingyue pointed, Li Lingtian was stunned as well before his face lit up with excitement. Dragon saliva fruit. 10,000-year dragon saliva fruit. Li Lingtian gasped as well. He did not expect himself to think of the ambergris fruit. This was a legendary treasure, a peerless material for refining pills. It was a treasure that had already disappeared from the divine martial continent. Chapter 404. Chapter 404. Entering the Passage. 1. Chapter 404. Entering the Passage. 1. It really is the dragon saliva fruit. Longda was also excited. Only these 10,000-year-old heavenly treasures could make a transformed demon beast like Longda excited. Moreover, he had seen countless demonic beasts like heavenly materials, earth treasures, and Dragon King. But they revealed an excited expression when facing this dragon saliva fruit. The dragon saliva fruit was also a top-notch existence among heavenly and earthly treasures. This was because the place where it grew had to be a place where dragons had lived. It had to be nourished by dragon energy for a long time to form the dragon grass. After countless years, the dragon grass would grow into the dragon saliva fruit. The dragonfly grass was originally a precious medicinal herb that was difficult to find in the world. Moreover, to obtain a fruit from the dragonfly grass, that was even more rare. Don't reveal such an appearance. When the time comes, the medicinal pill that I refine with this dragon saliva fruit will be able to display 10 times the effect of the fruit. Li Lingtian glanced at Longda and spoke indifferently. His face was also filled with excitement. If there was a dragon saliva fruit, there would be a dragon grass. Otherwise, this fruit would not have grown in the air. Hee hee. Longda chuckled. He truly believed that Li Lingtian's alchemy and array Dao were peerless talents that few could compare to. For a treasure like the dragon saliva fruit, no matter what grade the medicinal pill was, adding a little bit of it could increase the quality of the medicinal pill by a large margin. It could even cause the medicinal pill to mutate and become a magical medicinal pill. This dragon saliva fruit and dragon jewel grass are not bad. Move aside a little. Don't let the aura touch them. Li Lingtian told Tang Qingyue, and Longda that little white was of the dragon clan, so there was no problem. After saying that, he walked up carefully. His whole body was emitting a dense wood-type spiritual qi. This way, he could casually display the martial soul of the 5 elements completion. Whenever he encountered a wood-type martial soul, it would be a wood-type martial soul. Although this fruit was born from dragon energy, it also grew by absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The natural treasures here were all nourished by wood-type spirit stones. Unless it was the heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the sea area. Even the heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the sea area had wood spiritual qi and water spiritual qi. When he arrived at the location of the ambergris fruit, Li Lingtian took a closer look. There were only 33 ambergris fruits in this place, but they were definitely over 10,000 years old. Moreover, there were quite a number of dragon saliva fruit seeds on the ground. It seemed that these dragon saliva fruits had not been picked and had fallen to the ground. Other than some seeds of the ambergris fruit, there were also some small ambergris grass. It seemed that they were grown from the seeds of the ambergris fruit. The dragon jewel grass that nurtured the dragon saliva fruit were all very large. Such a dragon jewel grass was definitely in existence that was more than 100,000 years old. It couldn't be better for medicinal pills that were grade 7 and above. After pondering for a moment, Li Ling activated her divine sense and cast out many wood elemental formations. After doing everything, she grabbed with one hand and uprooted everything within a 10-meter radius. Not only were they uprooted, but even the soil was stirred up. He used his divine sense to open the divine dragon ring and quickly put the dragon grass and dragon saliva fruits into the divine dragon ring. Soon everything was put into his herb garden. The herb garden in the divine dragon ring was 30 miles in size. It was filled with 10,000-year-old herbs and some rare herbs. There were also limitless Dao fruits and 5-element spirit fruits. Tang Qingyue burst into laughter when she saw Li Lingtian uprooting the entire place. The way Li Lingtian was digging up the ground was like killing 3 birds with one stone. Li Lingtian waved at Tang Qingyue and the others after he was done packing. He then looked at the huge stone wall behind the ambergris fruit. The stone wall seemed to have cut off heaven and earth. Even with Li Lingtian's divine consciousness, he could only see a cliff 10 miles high. He could not see anything higher. Could this be the place where the dragon soul is? Tang Qingyue looked at the cliff and thought of the fruit that had just appeared. If there were no dragons here, there would definitely be no fruit. This should be the place. Li Lingtian nodded, but he did not know how to use the dragon soul jade. He took out the dragon soul jade and examined it carefully. What puzzled Li Lingtian was that the dragon soul jade was not pointing to this place but somewhere else. During this period of time, even though they did not know the direction, the dragon soul jade had some guiding functions. As they approached the direction of the dragon soul, the dragon energy on the dragon soul jade would be more concentrated. This way, Li Lingtian and the rest did not lose their way. Could this be a passageway? Li Lingtian's brows furrowed as he spoke softly. Since the ambergris fruit had appeared in this place, it should be where the dragon soul resided. Moreover, this precipice was not simple either. It could only be connected to mysterious existences like the dragon soul. Following that, Li Lingtian carefully scanned the stone wall with his divine perception. He searched every inch of the wall but he could not find any clues. At that moment it was noon and the sun was shining down. The dragon soul jade in Li Lingtian's hand emitted a blood-red glow. The glow merged with the sunlight in the sky and formed a strange aura. Whoosh! 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 A gust of wind arose from the flat ground as whirlwinds appeared. The whirlwinds revolved around Li Lingtian. No, they should be revolving around the dragon soul jade. Li Lingtian could not help but be stunned when he saw this. He was an array master, a powerful holy array master, but he could not see through the mechanisms here. This array was completely created by borrowing the power of heaven and earth. The dragon soul jade was a catalyst. It would only appear under the sunlight at noon, which was also the time when the dragon soul jade would unleash its power. Rumble! Rumble! Kacha, kacha! At that moment, a black hole appeared not far from where Li Lingtian was standing. The black hole had a strong suction force. He quickly pulled Li Lingtian in. When Li Lingtian entered the black hole, he grabbed Tang Qingyue and Little White with one hand while Longda flew over automatically and plunged into the black hole without hesitation. Soon the ground returned to its usual calm. There was nothing unusual about it. It was impossible to tell that such a strange change had occurred in this place. Bang! After some time, Li Lingtian fell to the ground. His two hands were still holding Xiaobai and Tang Qingyue in his arms. No matter what, he would not let the two girls separate. It was dangerous everywhere in this place and he would not be at ease if they got separated. Longda also landed on the ground and instinctively sized him up. It was extremely dark inside. If not for their high cultivation, they would not have been able to see anything inside. However, they quickly sized up the place. It was a simple passageway, but it was not small. It was larger than any passageway they had seen before. What powerful dragon energy! It should be the aura of Yinglong. Little White had absolute authority over dragon energy. Although she did not have much knowledge and did not have much contact with it, she was a miracle of the dragon race after all. She could cultivate the bloodline of the 9-colored divine dragon. She must know a lot about dragon energy and was much more knowledgeable than Li Lingtian. Naturally, he understood what Li Lingtian meant. Perhaps he would become a member of the true dragon clan this time, and his cultivation base would advance tremendously. Seeing that Li Lingtian and the other two were walking ahead, he quickly suppressed his excitement and flew forward. Li Lingtian led the two beauties through the dark passageway. He had already confirmed that there were no humans or living creatures in this place. Since it was a place like this, he felt much more at ease. However, no matter what the situation was, he would maintain the highest level of vigilance. Let's speed up. Li Lingtian and the others walked for a full hour, but they were still stuck in the passageway. There was a hint of impatience on their faces. Moreover, the dragon soul jade pointed in the same direction as this passage, but the distance was very far. With that said, he cast the true dragon body barrier to protect Tang Qingyue and Little White by his side. The light shield surrounded the three of them as they glided swiftly. Without any hesitation, Longda took the lead and led the way in front of Li Lingtian. This was what a loyal subordinate had to do. He had to block any danger for his master. After flying for 3 hours, they finally arrived at the end of the passage. At the end of the passage was a huge palace. There was only one seat in the palace, which was like the throne of an emperor. Boom! At that moment, Li Lingtian felt a destructive pressure appear out of nowhere. The presence of this pressure sent him flying without any resistance. Longda was the first to bear the brunt of the impact, followed by Li Lingtian and the other two. They were sent flying before they finally stopped after hitting the stone wall. Li Lingtian and Longda both spat out a mouthful of blood. Longda had withstood the most powerful pressure and suffered the most damage. Li Lingtian was the one who passed. He had cultivated the true dragon body barrier and was protected by the limitless feather coat. Naturally, he was not worried about dying in the face of the pressure. However, Tang Qingyue and Little White would definitely be injured. He had blocked all the pressure alone so that Tang Qingyue and Little White would not be injured. Little White, protect Sister Blue Moon. Longda, this is where the dragon soul exists. The two of us will go in. Li Lingtian shouted when he felt the waves of pressure crashing toward him. The situation did not give him the time to think. Little White was a dragon and had an extremely strong defense. Naturally, it would not be affected by the dragon energy. The Silverwing Flying Dragon shouted as well. With Little White and the Silverwing Flying Dragon, Tang Qingyue could be saved. With a flash of his body, he forcefully flew towards the source of the pressure. Although Longda was injured, his face was filled with excitement because if he obtained the dragon energy, he could increase his cultivation. As for the dragon soul, he did not dare to have such thoughts. Fighting for the dragon soul in front of Li Lingtian was akin to courting death. The voice was directed at him and Long De was ignored. Long De was shocked when he saw Li Lingtian's expression and his conversation with the mysterious being. This young man was too mysterious. His strength was terrifying and his methods were shocking. Now, facing such a powerful existence, he was still so calm. Was this strength? And he was even arrogant. Even if he was arrogant, to be arrogant to this extent was also a realm. After saying that, he unleashed all the true dragon chi in his body and activated the true dragon body barrier. He extended his right hand and gently shook it. The dragon cry battle halberd also appeared in his hand. True dragon chi. Dragon roar battle halberd. Divine dragon ring. Who are you exactly? How can a human like you possess all the treasures of the dragon clan? When Aolai saw all of this, he was also shocked. He was the guardian of the dragon clan, so he naturally knew what all of this represented. It represented the existence of the dragon clan leader. If it had appeared on a true dragon, he would have accepted it. However, it had appeared on a human. He could not accept it even if he was beaten to death. Anything can happen in this world. I'm the reincarnation of the Saint Lord of Nine Yang. I entered Hidden Dragon Island and obtained all of this. I also saw the Golden Dragon Phantom. As for everything else, you don't need to know. I believe you've seen the girl outside who looks exactly like me. She's a 4-colored dragon now. This is enough. I believe you don't need to know anything else. Just this is enough. Li Lingtian replied calmly. The Golden Dragon was the ultimate existence of the dragon tribe. Even though his cultivation base was not high, he controlled everything in the dragon tribe. The Golden Dragon Phantom believed him by giving him these. I understand. Can you let me in to take a look? Yinglong and Aolai listened to Li Lingtian's tone. He was no fool. Naturally, the reason for all this was that even the Golden Dragon trusted this human, so it was only natural that he valued this human greatly. His voice was filled with anticipation. He could instantly wipe out the humans in front of him, but he wanted to see his own race. It was a faith, a spiritual sustenance, and a way to prove that Li Lingtian was not lying to him. You can go in. Li Lingtian did not refuse. He activated the divine dragon ring with his divine consciousness. He could clearly sense a thought entering the divine dragon ring. Li Lingtian was relieved that Aolai had entered the ring so easily because he trusted him. Otherwise, he could easily erase the thought in the divine dragon ring with his control. Tease. It has been 2.5 months since the book was published, and the word count has exceeded 1 million. Bang! With 2 muffled sounds, Tang Qingyue and Xiao Bai saw Li Lingtian and Long De reappear. However, they did fall freestyle after they appeared. At first, they only saw Li Lingtian and Long De disappear. After a full day, although the two were worried, they did not dare to act rashly lest they cause trouble for Li Lingtian. Fortunately, Li Lingtian had appeared. However, he noticed that both Li Lingtian and his companions' faces were contorted. They must be suffering from inhumane pain. Lingtian. Big brother. The two ladies cried out in surprise when they saw Li Lingtian's expression. Their hearts ached terribly. Tang Qingyue wanted to go forward, but Little White reacted in time and stopped her. She was also extremely worried and almost went to visit Li Lingtian with Tang Qingyue. However, she quickly stopped when she saw Li Lingtian's dragon energy and his appearance. Since they had signed a friendly contract, they were naturally able to sense each other. She knew that Li Lingtian could not move now. Sister Blue Moon, don't go. Brother is receiving the dragon soul's condensation. Little White sized up Li Lingtian carefully. It was sad to see Li Lingtian in pain, but it was more than happy. As long as Li Lingtian could endure it, his strength would increase greatly. Just like that, Little White and Tang Qingyue looked at Lingtian while the silver-winged flying dragon stood guard at the side. As time passed, the pain on Li Lingtian's face gradually subsided. However, a strange aura appeared on his body. Little White knew that it was the true dragon's qi. Li Lingtian's body continued to sublimate, and his strength had reached a level beyond his imagination. Boom! In the palace, Li Lingtian's dragon energy exploded like a whirlwind. The dragon energy continued to flow into Li Lingtian's dantian before it came out again. After one round of condensing, it entered his dantian again. After 9 consecutive cycles, the dragon energy in Li Lingtian's body stabilized. Behind Li Lingtian, 4 dragon shadows appeared. The dragon shadows continued to materialize and slowly grew larger. Instantly, the entire hall was filled with shocking dragon chi. The 4 dragon shadows completely transformed into 4 huge dragons. Roar, 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 roar. The 4 giant dragons roared, and destructive dragon energy wreaked havoc in the hall. True dragon body barrier, 4th level giant dragon power. Li Lingtian's body erupted with the supreme dragon's might as he shouted excitedly. The 4 giant dragons circled around him in excitement. The dragons changed according to Li Lingtian's mood. This was the true dragon body barrier that he had cultivated. Roar! At this moment, Long Da's flood dragon body also appeared. However, his roar was in pain because he was at the edge of the flood dragon and the true dragon. His true body had surpassed a flood dragon, but he lacked something to become a dragon. Li Lingtian looked at Long Daxiang before shifting his gaze to Little White. Little White did not say anything. Without the slightest hesitation, it extended its hand and a drop of blood essence was produced. This drop of blood essence was the blood of a true dragon, real dragon blood. The blood essence carried a shocking dragon aura, and a mysterious and powerful might was emitted from the blood essence. With a flick of his finger, the blood essence shot towards Long Da. Long Da felt the terrifying dragon energy in this drop of blood essence and opened his eyes. There was no fear in his eyes but excitement. The blood essence entered Long Da's glabella. Immediately Long Da rolled around and roared. It looked like it was in extreme pain. Even the most powerful demon beast could not bear the pain. One could imagine how uncomfortable it was. Long Da rolled on the side, continuously refining the true dragon's blood. Li Lingtian stood up and walked to Tang Qingyue's side. After arriving at Tang Qingyue's side, he did not say anything. Instead, he meditated and cultivated. Although he had withstood the dragon soul and broken through the true dragon body barrier, his realm was still unstable. More importantly, his cultivation realm had also loosened. 3rd level supreme realm breakthrough. Half a day passed and Li Lingtian's aura surged. Chapter 407 Chapter 407 Long Da's Loyalty 1. Chapter 407 Long Da's Loyalty 1. Naturally, he would not treat his subordinates unfairly. Giving the treasure to Long Da was also a disguised investment, and it was also a disguised way to increase his strength. After everything was done, Li Lingtian handed the Roaring Dragon combat halberd to Long Da with a serious look in his eyes. I swear my loyalty to the young master and the princess. If I'm disloyal, I'll be struck by lightning and my cultivation will never improve. I'll be stuck in the cycle of reincarnation forever. Long Da knelt down. His eyes were red. He was extremely excited, but he was even more serious. He never expected Li Lingtian to turn him into a true dragon so quickly, and even give him the dragon tribe's ultimate treasure. It was the dragon clan's most precious treasure, the dragon roaring halberd. If he had this treasure, his strength would increase by a huge margin. More importantly, this dragon roaring halberd represented the dragon clan's god of war. Remember what you said. I can grant your wish and I can also destroy you in an instant. As long as you don't do anything that harms the dragon clan or disobeys me, I can let you go. Remember, you are now a member of the true dragon clan, so you should be proud of it. The responsibility is always more than the glory. Li Lingtian's entire body was emitting dragon's might. Just because he had given him the roaring dragon combat halberd did not mean that he would allow him to do evil. The combination of kindness and might was a common and most effective method for any intelligent race. This subordinate understand. Long Da did not say anything else and nodded seriously. Following that, Li Lingtian and the others did not leave the palace. Instead, they cultivated there. Although his cultivation had reached the 3rd heaven revered martial artist, and his true dragon body barrier had reached level 4 dragon power, he had to stabilize his realm. He had to adapt to the powerful strength brought about by the breakthrough, and also control the true essence and dragon energy in his body. He was also a member of the True Dragon clan now, and his physique was extremely strong. With his cultivation at the 3rd level of the Supreme Realm, coupled with the True Dragon Body Barrier, and the Limitless Feather Coat, he could even withstand a full-force attack from a 9th level Supreme Realm expert. With such a powerful physique and all sorts of defenses, even a full-powered strike from a Saint Tool would be able to withstand it without being injured. If other experts were to find out about this physique, they would definitely vomit blood. Li Lingtian spent most of his time cultivating the True Dragon Body Barrier to stabilize his giant dragon power, which allowed him to unleash 4 giant dragons. The power of the giant dragons was extremely terrifying. The 4 giant dragons could directly destroy any martial artist below the Martial Supreme Realm. No Martial Supreme Realm expert could withstand the strangulation of the 4 giant dragons. He spent a portion of his time using the Heaven and Earth reincarnation technique to stabilize the 3rd level Martial Honored Realm, and the Martial Soul of the 5 Elements Perfection as the foundation. This way his realm would stabilize very quickly. 10 days later, Li Lingtian left the palace and returned the way he came. After returning to the outside world, he found a place suitable for cultivation to stay. As usual, Guardian Long and Li Lingtian were cultivating in the cave. Li Lingtian had to constantly evolve his various skills to achieve a breakthrough in his realm. This way he could unleash his full potential. True essence cultivation was only his capital, while his skills were the true means to destroy his enemies. Skills were a medium to unleash the greatest power of true essence. With the cultivation of a 3rd level revered martial artist, the power of skills was naturally much stronger. Lingtian, what did you and Longda encounter that day? At night, when Li Lingtian was done cultivating and sleeping, Tang Qingyue snuggled up to him with a shy expression on her face. Even though the two of them did not advance further, they were still a virgin and a conservative girl. Chapter 408 Roasted Rabbit 1. Chapter 408 Roasted Rabbit 1. Li Lingtian had a faint smile on his face as he looked at Tang Qingyue, who was sleeping soundly. He thought back to when he was in Green Island. He rarely saw Tang Qingyue when he played with Tang Ziming. In the end he met her a few times in Sky Cloud Sect, and was even frightened by Tang Qingyue. At that time he was too weak. Facing the powerful Dishi family he was completely afraid, so he dared not provoke Tang Qingyue. Who would have thought that in Sky Dragon Empire, the relationship between the two of them would be further pulled, and in the end they would even give him the Yin blood. As a result, Li Lingtian was at a loss. However, after Tang Qingyue was brought to the Tsang continent, he made up his mind to rescue her. Now that Tang Qingyue was by his side, and the two of them had reached this stage, he was extremely satisfied. With such a peerless ice beauty in love, what else could he not be satisfied with? Unknowingly, Tang Qingyue woke up as well. It was already very early, but she was really tired after the two of them had sex just now, so she fell asleep. However, she woke up very quickly. When she saw Li Lingtian looking at her, she felt embarrassed. However, she let go of him immediately because she had already transformed from a girl into a woman, and became Li Lingtian's woman. Since she had already done such a thing, there was nothing to be shy about. She might be an icy beauty on the outside, but when she fell in love with someone, she would put all her gentleness on the person she loved. "You're tired. Go to sleep first," Li Lingtian said gently as he gently caressed Tang Qingyue's smooth face. This action only existed between lovers. "I know you were worried about me just now. Tomorrow Blue Moon will serve you well." Tang Qingyue buried her face in Li Lingtian's chest as she spoke softly. Even though she was a virgin, she was not a fool. She could sense that Li Lingtian was being careful when they were being intimate. Naturally, she understood that Li Lingtian was concerned about her first time, which was why he allowed her to rest first. Li Lingtian's heart skipped a beat. It was definitely the most tempting thing for a peerless ice beauty to say such words. Her heart was burning, but she could only hold it in. It was Tang Qingyue's first time, so she couldn't do anything reckless. Although she was very excited during the pleasure, It would definitely be bad for her health later. Soon both of them fell asleep again. The night passed without a word. The next day, Li Lingtian cultivated as usual. Tang Qingyue cultivated as usual, but her gaze toward Li Lingtian had become gentler. It was normal for the two of them to be intimate. Although she was still a little shy, she was much better than before. Li Lingtian had cultivated to a certain extent. Seeing the rich spirit qi here, he began to refine elixirs. Such dense spiritual energy was just enough to refine a 5th or 6th grade medicinal pill. He spent a month refining pills. He spent the entire month refining Tier 5 and Tier 6 pills, but he did not attempt to refine a Tier 7 Great Rejuvenating pill. This was because he had not prepared such a pill yet. Moreover, he still had a few medicinal herbs that he had not gathered. When he had gathered all the medicinal herbs, he would also try it. During the month, Li Lingtian refined elixirs and cultivated his skills during the day. At night, he studied alchemy and cultivation techniques while cultivating heaven and earth reincarnation and true dragon's body barrier. However, this was only during cultivation time. When it was time to sleep, he would have sex with Tang Qingyue. Tang Qingyue had just tasted the forbidden fruit, so she was naturally not tired of it. In the first 2 days she still could not let go, but in the end she did. Just you wait. Li Lingtian found a sturdy branch and skewered the 4 rabbits that he had cleaned up together. He then placed them over the fire and roasted them. He also threw a strange plant into the fire. The sound of flowers and grass wafted over the roasted rabbit. 20 minutes later, waves of fragrance wafted out. Long Dadu kept grunting as his eyes stared intently at the rabbit that had been roasted to a golden yellow on the flames. In the end, Li Lingtian sprinkled some salt on the rabbit, and a creaking oil fragrance wafted out. Gradually, the flames were extinguished, and 4 golden roasted rabbits were ready. Li Lingtian removed the 2 roasted rabbits and handed them to Long Da, who looked excited. After all, they were of different statuses. He did not expect Li Lingtian to not treat him as a servant at all. "This is for you. Try out my ability." Li Lingtian tore off a rabbit leg and wrapped it in a leaf so that Tang Qingyue would not be scalded. It smells so good. Lingtian, how did you manage to roast such fragrant rabbit meat?" Tang Qingyue had long been attracted by the fragrance. She eagerly accepted the rabbit meat Li Lingtian handed her. She felt a surge of happiness when she saw how careful Li Lingtian was. This was because Li Lingtian had always protected her. No matter what the situation was, he would always think for her. She had never felt such care and consideration before. At this moment she didn't care about anything else. She put a piece of rabbit meat into her mouth and immediately became excited. Li Lingtian was elated to see Tang Qingyue's blissful expression. After that, Tang Qingyue took the rest of the rabbit legs and ate 2 pieces of rabbit meat. Long Dalian had finished the bones of the 2 rabbits. In fact, Li Lingtian's control over the flames had already made the bones crispy. The 4 rabbits were dealt with just like that. Tang Qingyue walked to the other side of the pool to wash up, her face full of satisfaction. "I didn't expect young master to have such ability." Long Da could not help but exclaim in excitement. He was unable to discern Li Lingtian's true strength, but he did not expect the young master with such terrifying strength to be so formidable in this aspect. "I have many abilities." Li Lingtian smiled as he washed up by the pool. He was definitely an expert when it came to handling underlings. Outside his bottom line, he could relax and get along with the people below him, but when he did things he would be meticulous. As long as he didn't cross his bottom line, it would be fine. If he crossed his bottom line, it would be death. Chapter 409 Chapter 409 Returning to the War God. Chapter 409 Returning to the War God. Following that, Li Lingtian brought Tang Qingyue back the way they came. There were countless demonic beasts in the Lost Forest. Although he did not encounter any 8th-rank demonic beasts, there were definitely 8th-rank demonic beasts. He had already obtained the dragon soul, so there was naturally no need for him to stay here. Moreover, the benefits of the dragon soul he obtained this time were that he had broken through to the 3rd level of the Supreme Realm, and the true dragon body protection had reached the 4th level. It had also allowed him to achieve the true dragon body. However, the true benefit was that his physique had become terrifyingly powerful. Moreover, the dragon soul of Yinglong Ao Lai had not been completely digested. When he attacked the power of Yinglong, there would be endless benefits. Similarly, although he had the dragon power now, there was a trace of the Yinglong power in the dragon power. The true dragon body protection was also stronger than usual. Others thought that obtaining a dragon soul could allow one to reach the cultivation of an 8th-ranked demonic beast, but they had all underestimated the power of a dragon soul. It was far from being as simple as an 8th-ranked demonic beast. After a month, the two of them flew at a moderate speed and finally arrived in front of the restriction of the Lost Forest. When they returned, there were still countless experts entering. There were even disciples of martial kings. Since the Lost Forest was open, it would naturally not close. All the experts could also search for treasures, find medicinal herbs, and hunt demonic beasts inside. Whoosh! Li Lingtian held Tang Qingyue's little hand as his body flashed and entered the ripples on the stone wall. With a slight sound, the two of them appeared on the other side, which was Dragon Valley. Longda also came out. After coming out, he also saw that many martial artists were still hesitating whether to enter or not. Without saying a word, Li Lingtian and his companion flew away. There was no need for them to stay in this place. Wasn't that young man just now young noble Lingtian? Li Lingtian, a martial arts grandmaster, exclaimed. Others might not know Li Lingtian, but he did. A few years ago, the most famous genius in Green Continent was young Master Lingtian. He was also from Green Island, so he naturally knew Li Lingtian. That's right, you only just recognized him. You must definitely provoke young noble Lingtian. Another martial arts grandmaster powerhouse only dared to speak when he saw Li Lingtian's back disappearing into the horizon. That's right. No one below a martial emperor is his match. Yao Hao was still shocked when he thought of Li Lingtian's strength. What shocked him even more was that young Master Lingtian was destroyed by the god's wrath a few years ago. How could he appear here unscathed? No one below the martial emperor realm is his match? Cheng Li looked at Yao Hao as if he was a monster. Although the two of them had not known each other for long, they had worked together to kill a few powerful demon beasts, so their relationship was not bad. What's wrong? Isn't it? Yao Hao looked at Cheng Li's eyes and knew that there must be something he didn't know. He had only been in the Azure continent for less than a month, so he naturally didn't know anything. Sai, you've only just arrived in the Azure continent. There are so many things that you don't know. He wiped out the Dishi family and the House of Storms single-handedly. The war god killed a martial emperor in seconds, and an 8th-level gorilla became his pet. No one in the Azure continent dares to provoke him. Even the experts of the House of Storms in the past had to flee far away. In front of him, a martial emperor is nothing but an ant. Holy Array Master Martial Honor? Exterminate Dishi family and House of Storms, the strongest warrior in the Azure continent. Yao Hao was stunned. It was as if his soul had been sent flying. It took him a long time to wake up. Becoming a martial arts grandmaster in Azure continent was already so heaven-defying that no one in the entire Azure continent dared to provoke him. Even the 4 great empires dared to extort him. He did not expect that in just a few years, he had actually become a saint alchemist and a saint array master. He had even reached the legendary supreme realm. Wasn't this too heaven-defying? What kind of person was this? He was the strongest wherever he went. He was an overlord wherever he went. Wherever he went, he was earth-shattering. While the 2 martial arts grandmasters were discussing, Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue were already 1,000 miles away. Tang Qingyue's cultivation was already a Tier 1 martial arts grandmaster. However, she would not unleash her cultivation when she was with Li Lingtian. It was always Li Lingtian who brought her away. In front of Li Lingtian, she was just a little girl. She was Li Lingtian's little woman. Lingtian, do you think big sister Yu Yan misses us? Tang Qingyue was hugged by Li Lingtian as she snuggled happily beside him. The true dragon's protective light shield covered the two of them as they glided rapidly in the air. There was no jolt at all, as if they were standing steadily on the ground. Yes, we've been in the Lost Forest for more than 2 months. They'll naturally be worried about us. Aren't you afraid that they'll laugh at you? Li Lingtian looked at Tang Qingyue with a hint of a smile in his eyes. I'm not afraid. I'm your woman. What's there to be embarrassed about? Besides, Qingling, Sister Yuyan, and Mayor are still with you. I'm not afraid of this little sister Ji. Tang Qingyue said with a smile. Among these peerless beauties, only Xiaobai and Ji were not with Li Lingtian. Yet, the two little beauties were clinging to Li Lingtian every day. They looked extremely intimate. Naturally, she could see the smile in Li Lingtian's eyes. He was obviously teasing her. Her heart was filled with sweetness. No one dared to bully her when she was with Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian protected her and doted on her in every way. No matter how powerful a woman's cultivation base was, it was better for her to have a man whom she liked and who liked her to take care of her. She had done it herself. She liked Li Lingtian, and Li Lingtian liked her in return. She knew that she was beautiful, but she knew that Li Lingtian was not doing it because of her beauty. With Li Lingtian's strength and charm, there was no beauty in the world who would not fall for him. You! Li Lingtian extended his hand and gently tapped Tang Qingyue's round nose with a faint smile on his face. Soon the two of them arrived above the sea. Their divine senses moved, and a few spells were cast. Immediately a rumble sounded in the air. The war god appeared in the distance and flew toward Li Lingtian. When Li Lingtian appeared, all the warriors came out to welcome him. Their faces were filled with joy. Although nobody could threaten them with the war god, it was different with Li Lingtian as he was their backbone. Welcome back, young master. Congratulations, young master. Your cultivation base has increased greatly. Longda, congratulations. Congratulations, young madam. Oh, in an instant, more than 200 powerhouses on the war god came out to congratulate Li Lingtian. They were all extremely excited when they saw Li Lingtian's cultivation base skyrocketing. Moreover, they also discovered that Longda's return this time was very different from before. It was obvious that his cultivation had increased a lot. Li Lingtian nodded his head one by one before finally arriving at the top. A few girls had been waiting for him for a long time and their faces were filled with excitement. Excitement was mixed with concern. After all, Li Lingtian had to deal with the powerhouses from the House of Storms and enter the Lost Forest to search for the dragon soul. Swoosh! The restriction was activated and Li Lingtian entered the restriction. Tang Qingyue did not move away but clung to Li Lingtian's arm. Naturally, the girls understood what was going on. Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue's relationship must have reached that stage. Naturally, Longda stayed behind to guard the war god. Now that he was a true member of the dragon tribe and had been bestowed the roaring dragon halberd by Li Lingtian, it was only natural that he had to protect the war god, Li Lingtian, and the girls. Tang Qingyue let go of Li Lingtian after they entered the restriction. Shun Mei and the others naturally had to be intimate with Li Lingtian. It was impossible for her to hoard Li Lingtian all the time. Besides, her sisters were all living on the war god. It was easy for her to be intimate with Li Lingtian. Husband. Young master. Big brother. The few girls surrounded Li Lingtian happily. Huangfu Yuyan did not have the slightest scruples and was completely at ease as she chattered away like a little girl. Li Lingtian looked at the girls who had been separated for more than 2 months and he missed them dearly. In the end, Li Lingtian half reclined on the chair and enjoyed Huangfu Yuyan and Shun Mei's massage while eating the spirit fruit. He slowly recounted everything that had happened in the Lost Forest. Tang Qingyue also told him about the fun things that had happened in the Lost Forest. Big brother, you don't even bring me. Next time there's such a fun thing, you must bring Ji along. When Ji heard Tang Qingyue mention that there was something fun inside, she immediately pouted her rosy lips and twisted Li Lingtian's arm in a coquettish manner. The girls burst into laughter. Ji and Li Lingtian were senior siblings, so they knew that Li Lingtian treated Ji as his sister and doted on her like a treasure. The girls also liked Ji, this little sister. There was no one who didn't like a beautiful elf princess. Good, good. If you shake me a few more times, you'll tear apart my old bones. Li Lingtian felt helpless. Ji was like a precious gem in his heart, and he had to take care of everything himself. She had acted coquettishly with him many times, so he could only let her be. Big brother, aren't you embarrassed? You're a martial honor. Are you old at the age of 20? You're the #1 genius in the world, the most handsome man in the world, and the most charming man. Gyl's jade-like fingers kept counting, praising Li Lingtian to the skies. Yeah, I'm the #1 genius in the world. I'm the most handsome man in the world. I'm the most charming man in the world. Li Lingtian put on a narcissistic look, and the girls burst into laughter. They did not expect Li Lingtian to be so funny. However, the girls knew in their hearts that there were not many who could surpass Li Lingtian. He was also the most dashing and charming man who could make all the girls in the world fall for him. Moreover, there were more than 10 martial emperor powerhouses in the middle. One of them had even reached the peak of the 6th-level martial emperor realm. The terrifying demonic attacks continued to bombard the war god. The defensive power of the array formation against the demonic attacks was greatly reduced. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been bombarded like this. Li Lingtian, you're finally out. I thought you were going to be a coward. Chapter 411 Chapter 411 1 against 4. Chapter 411 1 against 4. Arrogant. Ignorant. Li Lingtian snorted coldly. His expression was calm, and there was no change in his expression. His war god array had been destroyed, and he was extremely unhappy. After saying that, he waved his hand at Long Da, who was behind him. Long Da's body flashed and turned into a true dragon, charging towards Xietian. In the air, a shocking dragon energy erupted. The appearance of the dragon energy immediately collided with the demonic energy. These two auras did not belong to humans. Moreover, these two auras were the most domineering auras. Li Lingtian had instructed Long Da that his duty was to protect Huang Fuyian and the rest. As long as their safety was not threatened, he should not make a move. Even if the war god was destroyed, he would not intervene. However, when it threatened Li Lingtian and Huang Fuyian, he would intervene and kill them all. Now that Li Lingtian had given the signal, he naturally had to take the lead. The terrifying dragon energy soared into the sky and continuously tore apart the demonic energy on the war god. In the end, it was all expelled from the war god. Although demonic chi was powerful, dragon chi was also shocking. In terms of strength, they really didn't know that demonic chi and dragon chi were more domineering. However, Long Da's true dragon body was at level 5 of the 7th level, and his cultivation was equivalent to the 5th heaven of the martial emperor realm. However, with his true strength, he would not have any problem facing Xietian, who was at the 6th heaven of the martial emperor realm. 7th rank, 5th rank transformed demonic beast. Xietian, young master Nanling, and the others all saw through Long Da's cultivation and were instantly shocked. In the past, the halo of the gorilla demon had drowned out Long Da, so they were all afraid of the gorilla demon and completely ignored him. He had only thought of Long Da as a level 1 7th order monster beast. However, he had never expected that in such a short time, this unknown Long Da had actually reached level 5 7th order. Moreover, his aura had become extremely pure. Compared to the two, it was completely different. Wipe him out, Li Lingtian said coldly. His body flashed as he unleashed the dragon energy from his body. The true dragon body barrier was activated, and the shocking dragon energy soared into the sky. Although the dragon chi was not weaker than Long Da's, its purity and power were not inferior to Long Da's. In fact, it was even more domineering than Long Da's dragon chi. This was the difference between giant dragon power and flying dragon power. Li Lingtian cultivated the true dragon body barrier, and refined the dragon soul to become a true dragon. Naturally, he was more powerful than Long Da. He flew toward young master Nanling. Young Master Nanling was at the second heaven of Martial Emperor realm. He had killed him last time, but he had used the soul-shifting technique to escape. His current cultivation was comparable to that time. It was not difficult for him to deal with a second-level martial monarch now. With Longda holding Xietian back, it would be easy for him to deal with a few first and second heaven martial emperors. The wrath of the gods. With a light shout, the thunderclap wings appeared. His body disappeared strangely and reappeared. For the first time, he escaped the joint attack of 4 martial monarch realm experts. The thunderclap wings ignored the distance of space and teleported in space without any spatial fluctuations. His body strangely appeared in the sky above the 4 martial monarch realm experts. When he appeared and was discovered, a destructive heavenly might descended from the sky. Rumble. Boom. Rumble. Crackle. Oh! Endless thunder and lightning struck down. Within a radius of 10 miles, it was filled with thunder and lightning. The lightning was as thick as a child's arm. Every time the purple lightning struck down, it was equivalent to a destructive strike from a martial supreme. Countless lightning bolts pressed the 4 martial emperor powerhouses into the air, and they could only passively resist. Li Lingtian's body was in midair as his hands moved continuously, unleashing a series of magic arts. The gods were furious. Destructive lightning and thunder bombarded down endlessly. However, it was impossible to kill the 4 martial emperor powerhouses. Ice, fire, 9 heavens, extinction. At this moment he finally found an opportunity. He flipped his hands and a glacier and a flame appeared in his hands. He put his hands together, and an aura of destruction and death appeared. These 2 auras were instantly covered by an aura of extermination. Between heaven and earth, a desolate aura of extermination made people feel terrified. A huge 4-colored light seemed to pour down from the 9 heavens, and the space was directly torn apart. Nanming's sword. True devil defying God. Great profound devil palm. Great demon true body. The 4 martial emperor powerhouses were shocked when they saw the beam of light descending amidst the endless lightning and thunder. Young Master Nanling was even more aware that he had fought with Li Lingtian before, so he naturally understood how terrifying this move was. The shocking pillar of light instantly descended and ruthlessly collided with the defenses of the 4 martial monarch realm experts. Boom! Rumble! Kacha, kacha! With an explosion, the defenses of the 4 martial monarch realm experts shattered. The shocking pillar of light disappeared, but a destructive halo appeared. Wherever the halo passed, there was endless destruction. Puff! 2 peak first-level martial emperors were killed. Now, only young Master Nanling and a second-level martial emperor were left. Naturally, Li Lingtian would not give his opponent any chance to react. If he lost the initiative, he would not be able to fight a martial emperor no matter how powerful he was. In a great battle, strength and wisdom were the deciding factors. Divine destruction to the extreme. Li Lingtian's body flashed. He had injured the opponent's martial emperor, so the opponent's martial emperor reacted swiftly and unleashed a devastating attack. He flapped his thunderclap wings and luckily dodged the destructive attack. When his body reappeared, he used the god-extinguishing extreme skill. Immediately, a destructive heavenly might descended. He had seen this god-extinguishing extreme skill before and had endured it before. He had almost been killed. The pressure that was like the might of the heavens blasted toward the second heaven of the martial emperor realm. The might of the heavens carried a destructive intent attack that crushed the will of the experts. Rumble! With a loud explosion, Li Lingtian's body swayed as blood trickled down the corner of his mouth. When he hit the second level of the martial emperor realm, he was unable to dodge in time, and was hit by young Master Nanling's sneak attack. However, the body of a true dragon, the defense of a giant dragon, and the limitless feather coat naturally could not kill him. However, it shocked him. After all, young Master Nanling was a martial emperor. Rumble! Rumble! In the distance, Xietian's face was filled with anger. He was a 6th heaven martial emperor, yet he was being suppressed by a transformed demonic beast. He had never thought that this 7th level 5th level demonic beast would actually control such a powerful treasure. Every attack carried the power of destruction, completely displaying the strength of the dragon race. Moreover, the dragon race's defense was extremely powerful. His attack could not kill Longda at all. Looking at the 4 martial monarch realm experts on his side, there were only 2 left. He had no way at all and it was impossible for him to escape. On Li Lingtian's side, it was quiet for the time being. Blood trickled down the corner of Li Lingtian's mouth as his face turned pale. However, young Master Nanling was also fearful. The other second Heaven Martial Emperor was also trembling from Li Lingtian's attack, and did not dare to make a move. On the War God, all the powerhouses were looking at Li Lingtian and Longda. They saw that the 2 of them had managed to pin down the other party, and that Li Lingtian had even killed 2 martial emperor powerhouses. Li Lingtian was only a revered martial artist, yet he was able to kill 2 martial sovereigns. There was nothing fancy about it, but he had relied entirely on his own strength, experience, and wisdom to kill 2 martial sovereigns. Chapter 412 Chapter 412 Blood Demon Shocks the Heavens. Chapter 412 Blood Demon Shocks the Heavens. He wiped the blood off the corner of his mouth and smiled. After eliminating the other 3 martial monarch realm experts, he now had some confidence in facing the most dangerous young Master Nanling. Although this young Master Nanling was abnormally terrifying, he was still killed by him last time. In the end, although he used the soul-shifting grand magic to escape, now that he met him again, he was always a threat. As an expert, the sense of threat was the most important. Although he did not know what kind of terrifying treasure or skill this young Master Nanling had, he did not dare to be careless. Longda, who was far away, was also starting to lose. He had the upper hand at the beginning, but now he was at a disadvantage for some reason. With Longda's cultivation and strength, coupled with the roaring dragon battle halberd, he should not have been defeated by Xia Tian. However, the tables had turned and Li Lingtian felt a sense of foreboding. If he didn't finish off young Master Nanling, he wouldn't be able to help Longda. At that time, he and the others would die here. You were lucky last time. Try my Blood Demon Shocks the Heavens. Young Master Nanling's expression changed when he saw that the 3 martial supreme realm warriors around him had fallen into Li Lingtian's trap one after another. Without any helpers, he was deeply afraid of Li Lingtian. He had been killed by Li Lingtian the last time. If he had not mastered the Devil Tribe's soul transference technique, he would have vanished into thin air. It was also because Li Lingtian was unaware of his soul transference technique that he had the chance to escape. It was rare for him to meet an opponent in his life, but he did not expect to be defeated and killed by a martial honor. How could he bear such humiliation in his heart? After saying that, the true essence in his entire body changed. The true essence directly transformed into shocking demonic chi. With the appearance of the demonic chi, he transformed into a huge blood demon. In the air within a radius of 1 mile there was a blood curtain, just like a blood pool, making people feel disgusted and uncomfortable. Li Lingtian's body flashed as he retreated quickly. The blood veil floated in the air and any warrior who touched it would be tainted by it. It could even taint a powerhouse's true essence and treasures. Li Lingtian furrowed his brows at the sight of the blood veil as he circulated his true essence to the maximum. Dragon power. With a loud roar, streams of violent dragon energy appeared in the air. Li Lingtian was surrounded by destructive dragon energy. 4 gigantic dragons spiraled around him, tearing the air apart. Roar! The 4 giant dragons roared furiously. Dragon chi that seemed to tear through space stirred up the blood veil. The 4 giant dragons also shot toward young Master Nanling, causing the space to tremble. Blood Demon Shocks the Heavens. Boundless Blood Sea. Young Master Nanling could not help but shudder when he sensed the powerful and terrifying dragon. Li Lingtian's cultivation base had become so terrifying recently. He thought that his cultivation had been progressing quickly, and his abilities had improved significantly. However, he did not expect Li Lingtian to improve his cultivation faster than him. Seeing the 4 dragons charging at him, His expression kept changing. With a wave of his hand, a blood pillar appeared in the sea of blood in front of him and went straight for the 4 dragons. Chi-chi! Chi-chi! Roar, roar! The blood pillar hit the 3 dragons, and the 3 dragons let out sizzling sounds. The terrifying dragons had powerful defenses, but they were actually unable to resist the blood pillar at all. The 3 giant dragons were quickly eroded and cries of pity rang out. Li Lingtian shuddered as well. He did not expect that his true dragon body barrier, which he had cultivated to level 4, would be defeated just like that on his first try. Rumble! The last giant dragon bypassed the blood pillar and crashed into young Master Nanling's body, but it was defeated by the blood pillar in the end. Young Master Nanling's body was sent flying, while the 4 giant dragons were completely reduced to nothingness. Li Lingtian's body swayed as he spat out a mouthful of blood. The dragon power was condensed from his dragon energy. After receiving such an attack, he was also shaken. Both of them were injured in different ways. Li Lingtian did not expect young Master Nanling to cultivate such a terrifying devil chi. It was the most evil devil technique of the devil tribe. Ice Flame. Li Lingtian did not dare to attack again. Against such an evil creature that specialized in corrupting treasures and attacks, it would be futile to use destructive attacks. With a thought of his divine sense, he used the ice flame that he had condensed. This ice flame was also obtained in the Devil Canyon. He had not completely refined the ice flame that he had obtained last time. However, this time the icy frost flame was the size of a bowl. The appearance of the ice flame immediately caused a terrifying strangeness to appear between heaven and earth. It was unknown if it was cold or hot. However, when young Master Nanling saw this icy flame, his face revealed a trace of fear. If Li Lingtian were to use any other attack or treasure, he would be able to corrupt them. However, the icy frost flame had the same effect as his blood curtain, which was specifically used to erode a warrior's vital essence. He was still extremely confident in his blood demon shocking the heavens. With a wave of his hand, another blood pillar met the icy frost flame. Tsk tsk. Chi-chi. Chi-chi chi-chi. Instantly the air began to burn. It was both burning and solidifying. The combination of the 2 extremes immediately caused the blood pillar to be in a stalemate. Li Lingtian and young Master Nanling looked at each other. In such a situation they were almost on par with each other and it was hard to tell who would win. The 2 of them began to calculate in their hearts what attack they would use next. Yes. Li Lingtian waved his hand, but the icy frost flame did not even shake the blood veil. Instead, it was being eroded by the blood veil. If this continued, the icy frost flame that he had painstakingly cultivated would be eroded. The frost blaze had been retracted and the blood pillar had caught up to Li Lingtian. Glare mirror. Li Lingtian had already calculated this. Since he dared to retract the ice frost flame, he must have some defensive measures. With a flick of his divine consciousness, a mirror appeared. Suddenly, a ray of light appeared and shot towards the blood veil. Crash. The blood curtain was reflected back into the air. The light from the glare mirror also disappeared. 5 elements paragon. Balance of the 5 elements. Li Lingtian kept calculating in his heart. Other attacks were ineffective, but the 5 elements martial soul was the most basic attribute in the world. With its species attribute perfected, it should be able to suppress the blood veil. Instantly, the auras of the various species appeared. The 5 auras fused together, forming a faint 5-colored light that quickly descended from the sky. Chi-chi chi-chi. The blood curtain rolled and struggled, but the aura of the 5 elements martial soul suppressed it. Gradually, the 5-colored light of the 5 elements martial soul wrapped around the blood curtain. In the end, the blood veil completely disappeared, turning into air and drifting in the air. The entire process seemed to take a long time, but it only took an instant. Young Master Nanling was overjoyed when he saw that his blood veil had succeeded repeatedly. However, he did not expect that the 5-colored light unleashed by Li Lingtian would negate the blood veil in an instant. In fact, the blood veil had completely disappeared. It was already too late for him to retract the blood veil. He was furious in his heart. This was the cultivation he had cultivated. Spatial imprisonment. With the blood veil resolved, Li Lingtian's evil expression calmed down. With a wave of his hand, a banner appeared. The space trembled slightly before it came to a stop. Sword howl, heaven and earth. With a soft shout, the sword will from his entire body soared into the sky. The shocking sword will wreaked havoc in the space as Li Lingtian stood proudly between heaven and earth like a sharp sword. The Tianyu sword was displayed. He looked at the long sword seriously and casually waved it. Sword force was a type of sword trajectory. The sword light appeared, but this sword light made people feel that it was erratic. They did not know the trajectory of the sword light, so they could not block it. The sword ray seemed very slow, but it was actually very fast. In an instant, the sword ray struck young Master Nanling's body, and young Master Nanling's eyes revealed a look of fear. Tear. Ah! The sound of cloth being torn apart rang out. The sound was ear-piercing, and it was followed by young Master Nanling's miserable cry. Young Master Nanling's entire body was split into two halves. You want to leave? It's too late. Li Lingtian watched as young Master Nanling was split in half, but his expression did not change at all. Because he was really the young master of Nanling, he would not die so easily. He had escaped the last time. As expected, when young Master Nanling died, a black fog drifted out and quickly flew into the distance. Those who did not know would naturally not know that this black fog was young Master Nanling's soul. With a light shout, he flicked his finger and the icy frost flames shot out. The icy frost flames arrived in front of the black mist and instantly wrapped around it. The frozen sky was the most magical ice and flames in the world. If one's soul was wrapped in it, there was no reason for them to survive. Ah ah! Ah ah! Miserable screams came out from the ice flames. Young Master Nanling's shadow appeared in the ice flames. It was a very blurry shadow, but it was young Master Nanling's soul. As long as his soul escaped, he could be possessed and reborn with the techniques of the demons. There's a path to heaven but you don't take it. There's no door to hell but you barged in. Li Lingtian said coldly as he looked at Longda and Xietian in the distance. Longda was completely suppressed by Xietian. If it were not for Longda's realm, roaring dragon battle poleaxe, true dragon body and terrifying dragon energy, Longda would have been killed. He saw that there were already several injuries on Longda's body, and the injuries were very serious. With such an injury, if Longda had not protected Li Lingtian and helped him restrain Xietian, he would have fled. Ah! With a final scream, young Master Nanling's soul was finally refined and completely devoured by the icy frost flame. Xietian, who was standing in the distance, did not expect Li Lingtian to be so terrifying. Even young Master Nanling's sky-shocking blood demon was dispelled by Li Lingtian. Now that the four martial Supreme Realm experts had been killed, even though he was suppressing Longda's attack, it was impossible for him to kill Longda now. Li Lingtian had the time to spare, but he was not confident that he could kill Longda with the two of them joining forces. Myriad swords returned to the origin. Li Lingtian came to a halt and circulated his sword will. He also unleashed the heavenly fault sword and with a single slap, a ball of light exploded. Instantly, a world of swords appeared with him as the center. This world of swords was filled with tens of thousands of sharp swords. Every single sharp sword was in existence above profound level weapons. Furthermore, there were countless emperor weapons, heaven weapons, and even saint weapons. The heavenly fault sword was a peerless saint artifact, and it was also the catalyst for the sword formation, driving the entire sword formation to spin. Whoosh! 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 With a flick of Li Lingtian's finger, 10,000 swords flew out together with a shocking sword aura and sword ray. The sword silks formed a sword net, and the 10,000 swords connected with each other. Instantly, the power of the profound armament was amplified by 100 times. Everything in the world was destroyed by the myriad returning swords. Everything was fused into the sword array. This was Li Lingtian's ultimate return of 10,000 swords. With one strike the world shook. Chi. The sword silks tore through space, and tens of thousands of sword lights and sword chi had already pierced through the giant devil's body. The giant devil was turned into pieces. It was completely penetrated by the sword chi and sword light. Its body was also directly turned into pieces by the sword silk. The giant devil no longer existed. Destruction was between heaven and earth. Thousands of swords flew toward Li Lingtian. With a single hand, all the sharp swords disappeared and entered Li Lingtian's light orb. The light orb was then absorbed into Li Lingtian's dantian. Turning weapons into chi was the symbol of a martial arts grandmaster or above. However, the number of weapons that each martial arts grandmaster could turn into chi was limited, and there were only one or two life-bound treasures. Li Lingtian had become a revered martial artist and had undergone countless tempering. He was no longer an ordinary person. The heavenly sword body, the flaming sacred body, the five elements perfection, and the ice and fire martial souls were all the most mysterious existences in the world. He could easily turn the 10,000 swords into chi. After all, he had the heavenly sword physique. The heavenly fault sword also entered his dantian, and he looked at the sky coldly. Longda and Li Lingtian formed an opposing force. Both of them understood the wonders of the infernals. Moreover, Xietian was a sixth heaven martial emperor. It would not be easy to kill him. The world fell silent as Li Lingtian entered a state of emptiness. He closed his eyes slightly. He used his consciousness to sense the fluctuations of space. The strangeness of the demons was beyond his imagination, but he had the holy demon ring and the holy demon quintessence, so he naturally understood a lot. The last time young Master Nanling escaped, it was only because he had carelessly neglected that young Master Nanling was a fiend. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. At that moment, countless devil chi slowly gathered in Li Lingtian's divine consciousness. The troll Xietian that had vanished into thin air gradually formed a shadow in the air. The shadow laughed maniacally. Sensing all of this, Li Lingtian opened his eyes and a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. Young master. Longda naturally didn't notice the change in the giant demon because everything in the air was the same as before. There was no aura or spatial fluctuation. However, he knew something was amiss when he saw Li Lingtian's expression. He quickly asked, "Be careful, he's coming out." Li Lingtian said calmly without any expression on his face. His eyes were focused on a spot in the sky. Upon hearing Li Lingtian's words, Longda became more cautious. He unleashed all of his dragon energy and drew out his roaring dragon warrior halberd. With dragon energy infused into the weapon, he would unleash a shocking attack the moment the troll appeared. He did not doubt Li Lingtian's words at all because he knew that Li Lingtian's strength was terrifying. His various methods were beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Moreover, Li Lingtian would never joke around when he was facing his enemies. Longda's expression changed drastically as he followed Li Lingtian's gaze. He did not notice it at first, but upon closer inspection, he noticed traces of demonic chi twisting. "I have an undying body. Ha 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 ha. Human, thank you for your help. In order to thank you, I will use your souls to pay tribute to my immortal body." The voice of the giant devil rang out in the space. The voice was real and was no longer sensed by Li Lingtian. The demonic chi continued to distort and gather together. The originally gray sky was swept clean of demonic chi because it had all gathered together. An ordinary demon powerhouse appeared in Li Lingtian's line of sight. Xietian was still Xietian, but his eyes were bloodshot and he was much more terrifying than before. Undying body. Ignorant. There is no such thing as an undying body in this world. If I kill you, you will never be reincarnated. Li Lingtian was relieved to see Xietian emerge. If Xietian were to launch a sneak attack, it would be a real headache. The mystical world of immortality did exist, but it was only a form of constitution and talent. It was not truly unkillable. As he spoke, he calculated. He had already tried his most powerful trump card, but it had not been able to kill Xietian. There was no weapon or skill that could threaten Xietian now. His heart began to tremble. This was the first time he had encountered such a thing. In the past, he could still rely on all kinds of heaven-defying pills, divine artifacts, and all kinds of heaven-grade divine abilities. However, he now understood that the difference in cultivation might not be made up by any divine artifact or divine ability. Die. Xietian looked at Li Lingtian coldly. Li Lingtian was a martial honor. Yet he had destroyed her sixth heaven martial emperor realm soul. If he had not suddenly comprehended the demon race's undying body, he would have vanished into thin air. This child could not be left alive. If he was left alive, he would definitely be a great calamity for the demons. He was already so domineering at the age of 20. If he was given another few decades, the demons would be finished. Without any hesitation, he waved his hand and a huge demonic chi fist shadow came hurtling toward him. The fist shadow was extremely fast and it struck Li Lingtian in an instant. Boom! With a dull thud, Li Lingtian was thrown into the air as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His mind trembled. This giant devil didn't have any tricks up his sleeves and directly attacked with destructive power. It was a simple punch that was extremely fast and powerful. Li Lingtian did not even have the chance to react before he was sent flying by the punch. He really can take a beating. Xietian was also shocked. It looked like a simple punch, but it carried the most powerful destructive power. This was the most overbearing attack of the devil race. In his imagination, this punch could even kill a sixth heaven martial emperor. He did not expect that this supreme realm young man would only suffer some minor injuries after taking a punch head-on. This was beyond his imagination. Naturally, he did not know how powerful Li Lingtian's true dragon body barrier was. There was also the limitless feather coat. Just these two items alone were enough to withstand a martial emperor's full-powered attack without suffering any damage. Li Lingtian's injury had exceeded his expectations. All right. This young master will play with you today. Li Lingtian's courage was also boosted. He was not pleased to be defeated by such a simple fist shadow. He had the true dragon body protection and the limitless feather coat. Could it be that he was really afraid of such a defense? In the past, he had always used heaven-grade divine powers and saint artifacts to kill his opponents across space. He rarely relied on his physique and strength to fight his enemies in close combat. With a roar, all the vital essence in his body disappeared, and the true dragon chi that he exchanged for was wrapped around by a shocking dragon chi. The true dragon body barrier was used again, and the divine dragon ring was opened. The destructive dragon chi entered his body, dominating heaven fist. With a flash of his body, he threw a destructive punch at the other party. Chapter 414 Blood Demon Blade. Chapter 414 Blood Demon Blade. One boom. His figure turned into a shooting star, and his fist shadow was like a mountain. In an instant, the huge fist bombarded Xietian's body. His speed was extremely fast, ignoring the distance between them. With a muffled sound, a powerful force raged in the air. Xietian's body was thrown out, and he spat out a mouthful of black blood. This attack was returned to him. Previously, Li Lingtian was also sent flying by Xietian's punch. Li Lingtian was only a level 3 martial honor, while Xietian was a level 6 martial emperor. The difference between them was like heaven and earth. However, Li Lingtian had the true dragon's body protection, and the divine weapon, limitless feather coat. He could withstand the blow. Now Li Lingtian unleashed his dominating heavenly fist with a destructive blow, sending Xietian flying. The two of them were even for a moment. This situation made Xietian furious. Okay. Big brother is too handsome. Husband is the most powerful. Good luck, Lingtian. 1. Young lord is mighty. Young lord is mighty. The few girls on the war god were excited. Countless powerhouses were also thrilled. Most powerhouses would fight with weapons and skills, but Li Lingtian had given up everything and relied solely on his strength. How could they not be excited? Li Lingtian's body floated in the air as the dragon energy around his body surged like a god of war descending. All right, yours truly. Xietian was furious. He did not expect that his body, a sixth heaven martial emperor expert, would be injured by a martial honors fist. Just as he was about to say something ruthless, a huge fist struck him again before he could finish. This was pure power, and the dragon chi was shocking. The fist carried destructive dragon chi, completely ignoring the corrosion of demonic chi. Boom! 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 In the air, a muffled explosion sounded. Although it was a muffled sound, the destructive force wreaked havoc in the space, causing the space to tremble. Long Da watched from the side as he unleashed all of his dragon energy. As long as Li Lingtian was in danger, he would charge forward. Now he could not join the battle even if he wanted to, because the two figures in the air were as fast as lightning. Their speed of separation and combination was beyond his sight. In the sky, a white light and a black light kept clashing. They kept separating and clashing. Moreover, there was the muffled sound of a fist hitting his body, which made Long Da extremely worried. Even if he was from the monster race, a true dragon race, and had a strong physique, he would not dare to imagine the result of fighting against Xie Tian. Little bastard, you're so f***ing cunning. You actually used ice flame. Are you a f***ing idiot? We are in a battle of life and death. Do you think we should follow the rules? I used the ice flame. Come and bite me. I want it, little bastard. Are you a f***ing dog? You really bit me. Is there any breeding for wild dogs? Boom. Boom. Bang. Bang. In the air on the war god, everyone was stunned. Was this a big battle? Why was he cursing? In an instant, the worries of all the powerhouses eased up. It was obvious that the young master had used the icy frost flame to trick Xie Tian. As long as Li Lingtian did not suffer any losses, Xie Tian would be happy. It did not matter if it was the icy frost flame or his fist. The winner would be king. A preconceived notion was formed in their minds. As long as Li Lingtian did not suffer any losses, he was right. Those who opposed Li Lingtian were now on the enemy's side. Enemies must be eliminated. Huang Fuyuyan and the others were also extremely worried. However, when they heard that there were actually curses in the middle of the battle, they could not help but laugh. Without any hesitation, the vital essence in his body vanished and a stream of pure demonic chi appeared. Instantly, his entire person became demonic. His white clothes fluttered in the wind, and his elegant figure had an additional trace of demonic aura. He casually waved his hand and sent a stream of pure demonic chi towards the blood demon blade. Tis! With a soft sound, the blood demon blade's saber light was neutralized like the melting sunflower spring snow. The pure demonic chi directly assimilated the blood demon blade's saber light. In the distance, Xie Tian was petrified. Saint Demon Quintessence. True Devil Chi. How is this possible? How is this possible? When he woke up, Xie Tian looked as if he had seen a ghost. What kind of existence was this young man in front of him? Was he a human, a true dragon, or a demon? He was a human, but he possessed the true dragon chi, which was no different from the dragon clan. However, he was now using the holy book of the demon clan. Only the holy demonic chi cultivated from the demonic canon could break the blood demonic blade so easily. More importantly, the Saint Demon scripture was a cultivation technique cultivated by the supreme great demon god of the demon race. How could it fall into the hands of this young man? Could this young man be the heir of his demon race or a prince of the imperial family? Nothing is impossible. You have eyes but are blind. How dare you have bad intentions towards this? Young master. Die. Li Lingtian was excited when he saw how useful the Asmodean's true devil chi was. This was the so-called bittern tofu. He had used so many methods but he still could not defeat the other party. He had almost been killed by the other party's blood demon blade. He had not expected that a strand of demonic chi would be so easily resolved. He had actually used demonic chi and was mistaken by the other party as a demon. He could use this identity to suppress the other party and wipe him out. After saying that, he used a trace of true devil QJ from the holy demon ring. Even a trace of pure true devil chi could destroy all low-level devil chi. With a flick of his divine sense, a 3-foot-long scepter appeared in his hand. The scepter had an ancient aura, but it contained the supreme dignity of the demon race. Heavenly wand. He extended his scepter, and the world instantly turned dark, as if the end of the world had arrived. Li Lingtian floated in the air like a demon god. His demonic aura surged into the sky and engulfed the entire world. With the heaven's wand in his hands, Li Lingtian had become a true demon tribe mighty figure even though he was a human. This was because the authority of the heaven's wand was the symbol of the demon tribe. Heavenly wand. The heavenly wand has appeared. Great demonic god's heavenly wand. Xietian could no longer sit still. His face was filled with a dazed expression. He did not have any intention of resisting the destructive demonic aura in front of him. The heavenly devil wand was the symbol of the supreme devil race. It possessed the power to destroy the heavens and earth. All the devils below the great demonic god would tremble in front of the heavenly devil wand. Not to mention a mere martial monarch realm expert. Even a martial monarch realm expert of the demon race would tremble in front of the heavenly staff. There was another problem. Li Lingtian's identity had shocked Xietian, causing him to lose his composure. Furthermore, all his skills had reached the transcendent state. This improvement made Li Lingtian extremely happy. During this period of time, Shunmei had enjoyed the happiness of a woman. She was extremely happy every day. When Li Lingtian was cultivating, she would cultivate with him. During their dual cultivation, her cultivation base improved and she enjoyed an unprecedented happiness. Half a month later, Li Lingtian walked out with a radiant aura and a faint smile on his face. "Big brother, your injuries are completely healed. I'm so happy." Ji watched as Li Lingtian walked out. He circled around Li Lingtian twice and sized him up carefully. He was only relieved when he saw that Li Lingtian was not injured at all. This made the other girls laugh. Ji was pretty and cute, and they all liked this little sister. "You little girl, you're not serious at all." Li Lingtian lovingly tapped Ji Yi's round nose and gently stroked her face before he walked toward Huang Fuyuyan and the others. "Lingtian, sit here." Tang Qingyue stepped forward and held Li Lingtian's arm as she led him into the garden. A few girls immediately brought stools over and sat around Li Lingtian. They sized him up and were only relieved after they were sure that Li Lingtian's injuries had fully recovered. "I didn't expect to be killed by the demons of Yuzhou this time. It seems that the Green Continent isn't so peaceful after all." Li Lingtian said that the girls would only let him go after he had recovered from his injuries. Finally, they thought of the Asmodeans' ambush some time ago and linked it to Green Island. Although he had eliminated the House of Storms and attracted the experts of Yuzhou Province, he had offended the experts of Yuzhou Province before. If he went back this time, perhaps the demons would come looking for him. His cultivation was still not enough. He had to raise it. Otherwise, he would not have the slightest confidence when he encountered a powerful opponent. In the past, he had thought that he could kill enemies of a higher realm. However, when he saw Xietian suppressing Long Da's attack, he knew that he was not the only one in this world who could kill enemies of a higher realm. The powerhouses of the devil race were all extremely powerful. If a 6th Heaven Martial Emperor came and he was heavily injured, wouldn't he be killed if a 7th Heaven Martial Emperor came? Li Lingtian's thirst for strength reached an unprecedented level at the thought of this. "That's hard to say. The last time you were killed by the god's fury light, all the experts in the Green Continent knew about it. I believe the devil race won't go to the Green Continent to find you." Huang Fuyuyan and the others knew everything about Li Lingtian, so they could naturally analyze the situation. "That's not right." Li Lingtian fell into deep thought when he heard Huang Fuyuyan's words. A moment later, he suddenly spoke with a grave expression on his face. Chapter 416 Chapter 416 Green Island Crisis. Chapter 416 Green Island Crisis. What's wrong? Upon hearing Li Lingtian's sudden question, the girls were taken aback. They did not know what was wrong with Li Lingtian's words. All eyes were on Li Lingtian with a questioning look in their eyes. When I left Green Continent, although the war had ended, I still couldn't understand why Tianjin Empire, Northern Nether Empire, and even Southern Mountain Empire had joined forces to deal with Tianlong. In terms of resources, Sky Dragon Empire doesn't have any resources at all. Why would the three empires join forces to wipe out Sky Dragon Empire? Moreover, they have Yuzhou backing them up. I couldn't figure it out, but now I understand. Yuzhou wants Sky Dragon City, and Sky Dragon City should have something that the experts of Yuzhou want. Li Lingtian said earnestly. This time in the Azure Continent, the House of Storms had gone to great lengths to obtain the Queen's Palace's Dragon Soul Jade. The Azure Continent's Heavenly Dragon was allied by the three empires, and had the support of the experts of Yuzhou Province. It must be for a certain item in the Sky Dragon Empire. Otherwise, even if the resources of the Sky Dragon Empire were given to Yuzhou Province, the experts of Yuzhou Province would not come to live there. That's right, we've overlooked this point. Yu Prefecture has been plotting against you to seize the Heavenly Dragon, and you didn't want the other major powers to know about it. It must be for something. Huang Fuyian nodded in agreement with Li Lingtian. Tang Qingyue looked worried. She had been away from Green Island for a few years, and she didn't know what Green Island had become. She didn't know if her parents and sister were in danger. Don't worry. We'll go back this time. Uncle and Auntie will be fine. Li Lingtian consoled Tang Qingyue when he saw the change in her expression. He gently pulled Tang Qingyue into his arms. The girls knew about his relationship with Tang Qingyue, so they would not laugh at her. Tang Qingyue snuggled into Li Lingtian's arms and the worry on her face eased a little. She was not worried that her sisters would laugh at her. Following that, Li Lingtian played with the girls and cultivated at night. He did not neglect his cultivation at all. Every night, he would either spend time with Tang Qingyue, Huang Fuyian, Shunmeier, and Qingling. On the war god, Ji was the happiest. As long as Li Lingtian was safe, she was the happiest because Li Lingtian could protect her. With Li Lingtian around, no one would dare to bully her. In her heart, Li Lingtian was her guardian angel and she relied on him for everything. While Li Lingtian was recuperating, the Wargot's defense array was repaired. However, Li Lingtian still added hundreds of arrays on it. These arrays were specially designed to defend against Devil Chi attacks. The array masters and the powerhouses on the war god were all aware that Li Lingtian had mastered the devil's cultivation method, and were beginning to worry. However, he did not take it to heart later on. In this world, no matter what cultivation technique it was, as long as one cultivated it to the point of becoming powerful, they would be the king. Many humans cultivated the demon clan's cultivation method, as well as the infernal clan's cultivation method. It was normal for Li Lingtian to cultivate the infernal clan's cultivation method as long as he was strong enough. As he controlled the cannon and the supreme treasure of the devil race, he naturally knew how to defend against the devil chi. The more than 100 new defensive formations were specially designed to resist the attacks of the devil chi. Furthermore, there was a mysterious array formation that was specifically used to collect devil chi. This was also a precaution for Li Lingtian. If he were to encounter a devil powerhouse, he could use the devil chi he collected when he executed the Saint Devil's quintessence to maximize his strength. While cultivating and resting, the war god flew at high speed. In the depths of the sea there was not a single expert. There were only powerful sea beasts. There was not even a single bird. They all understood that this sea region was boundless, and no expert would dare to come here. They didn't let the experts of the Serenity Plains enter the Azure Continent, but the Serenity Plains kept sending experts of the demon race in secret. The three empires withdrew from Sky Dragon Empire, and the entire Green Continent joined forces to resist the attack of the demon race. However, for some reason, after a month of fighting, Serenity Plains suddenly attacked. There were more than 100 martial emperors and more than 1,000 martial honors. All the demon race attacked Sky Dragon. The 4 great empires were defeated one after another. The people we sent out to inquire about the news encountered a demon expert. Only the 3 of us managed to escape. Wu Tianyun shared the information he had obtained from his trip, causing Li Lingtian's expression to turn grave. The Green Continent was weak. One Supreme Realm expert was enough to sweep across the Green Continent. Now that thousands of Supreme Realm experts and hundreds of Martial Monarch Realm experts had been sent, wouldn't the Green Continent be destroyed? How is Sky Dragon Empire now? Li Lingtian grew anxious. With so many powerhouses attacking the Heavenly Dragon, it would be a complete massacre. Who would be able to stop them? He was most concerned about Tang Ziming and her parents. Although Sky Cloud Sect and Sky Dragon Empire were very important, how could they be more important than the safety of his parents and wife? I don't know. We didn't even manage to enter the Heavenly Dragon Island. As soon as we entered the Azure Continent, we encountered countless demons who slaughtered the Azure Continent's martial artists. They didn't even spare ordinary people. We only got the news after we rescued these martial artists. In the end, we encountered a 6th-level Supreme Realm expert. Wu Tianyun recounted everything that had happened in the past few days. He was still trembling when he thought of the hundreds of Martial Monarch Realm experts, thousands of Martial Honored Realm experts, and millions of demons in Azure Continent. Young Master, we'll increase the speed of the War God to its maximum. I believe we'll be back in 2 days. Yifeng calculated the distance and the War God's speed before he spoke. However, Li Lingtian immediately rejected his suggestion. No, I'm going first. You guys follow me on the War God. Longda, just follow me. Protect young madam and the others. If they lose a single hair, I'll punish you. If you encounter any demons, use the War God to wipe them out. Don't bother them. Go straight to Sky Dragon Empire. Li Lingtian said earnestly as he made arrangements. Be careful. Huang Fuyan did not stop Li Lingtian. Instead, she spoke seriously with a concerned expression. I know. You have the most experience. I'll leave this place to you. Li Lingtian nodded and gently caressed Huang Fuyan's face with a look of pity. Lingtian, be careful. Husband, take care. Mayor will wait for you. Big brother. You are the most powerful Ji's guardian. Ji believes that you will definitely sweep away the demons. Young master, don't worry, Qingling will take good care of Ji and the other. The girls returned to the War God and shouted as they watched Li Lingtian and Long Da's disappearing figures. At that moment, Li Lingtian and Long Da had already disappeared from the sky. With Li Lingtian's cultivation base and the power of the thunderclap wings, he was faster than a martial emperor powerhouse's teleportation. Long Da also used the dragon tribe's powerful physique to fly through the sky. Chapter 417 Chapter 417 The Mysterious Old Man. Chapter 417 The Mysterious Old Man. Qingzhou had been peaceful for thousands of years. However, a few years ago, the demons secretly invaded the Green Continent. The 3 empires were used by the demons of the Serenity Plains to attack the Sky Dragon Empire. Who would have thought that Sky Dragon Empire would have such a heaven-defying genius? Li Lingtian, a Sky Cloud Sect disciple, rose to prominence and single-handedly challenged a martial grandmaster or martial emperor. He had become Sky Dragon Empire's #1 genius at the age of 17. With his powerful strength and intelligence, he swept across Green Island and was invincible wherever he went. After forcing back the Sky Dragon Empire's powerful enemies and extorting the 3 empires, 10 supreme martial emperors, and the demon race's martial-honored powerhouses finally killed Li Lingtian in secret. The final blow triggered the god's wrath and Li Lingtian vanished into thin air. He had thought that the Green Continent would calm down, but he had not expected that the 3 empires would not give up. They had attacked Sky Dragon Empire and destroyed it. The demons had invaded. They had no choice but to withdraw from Sky Dragon Empire. The 4 empires and some hermit experts from Green Continent had to resist the attack of the demons in Serenity Plains. However, the power of Green Continent was too weak. Green Continent, which could be swept away by a martial honor, had thousands of martial honors, martial emperors, and hundreds of martial emperor powerhouses. Green Continent did not have the slightest ability to resist. The invasion of Yozhou's experts and the dispatch of such a powerful lineup puzzled the world. The four empires were facing terrifying enemies, and countless humans were being slaughtered. The Sky Dragon Empire was even more so. More than half of the demons were gathered in the Sky Dragon Empire. The Sky Dragon Empire had fallen, and all the experts had come to the Sky Cloud Sect's Sky Screen Mountain Range. Currently, the Sky Screen Mountain Range had almost become the gathering place for Sky Dragon Empire's powerhouses. In the Divine Cloud Palace, Grand Elder Ling Mingho's expression was grave. Moreover, all the powerhouses present had injuries on their bodies and looked extremely miserable. Sky Dragon Empire has already fallen. The demons of Yuzhou have invaded. It's impossible for us to escape from Qingzhou. Ling Mingho said seriously. In front of countless martial honors and martial emperors, they could even encounter martial emperor powerhouses at any time. How could some martial ancestors and martial emperors escape Azure Continent? Even if it was here, it would be destroyed in an instant. This year, the Green Continent was in chaos. The Heavenly Dragon was attacked. Now the country was destroyed, and countless experts had disappeared. Brother Ling is right. We can't escape or fight now. We can only wait for death. Why did the demons of Yuzhou Province attack the Green Province so wantonly? Is there any treasure in Green Province that is worth attacking? Our Green Province is a poor place with few resources. Compared to the Yuzhou Province, it's a remote place. I think the Yuzhou Province wants something important here, but we don't know about it. Countless martial monarchs and martial supremacies have surrounded Sky Cloud Sect. There are still more than 40 martial emperors. Even if we escape, we won't stand a chance. All of a sudden, all the experts were discussing animatedly. Those who could come to the Divine Cloud Palace were all martial arts grandmasters and martial emperors. The martial emperors and martial arts grandmasters here were all the remnants of the entire Sky Dragon Empire. In the face of an unrivaled expert, no matter how many people there were, no matter how much attention they paid, it would be useless. The Yuzhou demons didn't even consider the above conditions and simply slaughtered them. Sky Peak was extremely quiet. In the Sky Pavilion, a beautiful girl was staring at the sky. There was no change in her expression. Her small hand was supporting her chin. This situation had been the same for the past few years. Almost half of the time every day, she saw this kind of scenery. The young girl did not speak. She just looked at the sky as if there was something she liked in the sky. Even during the chaos of the Green Continent and the invasion of the demons, the girl's expression did not change at all, as if this world did not belong to her. "Miss, go back and rest." At this moment, a girl dressed as a maid walked up to him and called out softly, How long has it been?" The beautiful girl was naturally Tang Ziming. When she spoke, she was also very calm. She was no longer as happy and lively as before. "Miss, it's already been 4 years. Qingping said seriously. Her young miss's words had become a habit for the past 4 years. Ever since Li Lingtian was killed by the light of God's wrath and vanished into thin air, the young lady's face had lost its smile. She was no longer the lively young lady she used to be. In the Sky Pavilion, Lu Suifeng and his wife Tang Ziming, Qingping and Xiao Xiao were present. Although a few years had passed, this place was still quiet. It was like a paradise and no one came to disturb it. The invasion of the demons had already surrounded Sky Cloud Sect, but they did not make a move. This puzzled countless experts. Days passed. On this day, the peaceful Sky Cloud Sect was suddenly filled with monstrous demonic qi. The shocking demonic qi rolled over from the sky as countless demons rushed over. In the sky, there were hundreds of martial honors, thousands of martial emperors and martial grandmasters, and more importantly, there were 17 martial emperor powerhouses. Divine Wind, come out. As long as you open the demon sealing god array, the millions of demons in Green Continent will leave Green Continent and return you Green Continent. At this moment, a thunder-like voice exploded. A giant devil floated in the air, and its entire body was filled with shocking demonic qi. Countless experts of Sky Cloud sect were killed by the demonic qi. Every second, countless martial artists died. In the face of the demonic qi, even martial kings had no chance of resisting. The giant demons were the 3 most powerful demons among the 47 martial monarch realm experts. They had already reached the 6th heaven of the martial monarch realm. The Serenity Plains had sent out such a powerful demon race just for one thing. Who is the Divine Phoenix? Is the Serenity Plains here for the Divine Wind? What happened? Could it be that this is the only excuse to attack and destroy the Azure continent? If you want to kill, then kill. Why are you looking for an excuse? Countless experts from the Divine Cloud Palace had already come out. Although they were all martial arts grandmasters and martial emperors, there were still hundreds of them. The hermit experts who were usually invisible were also gathered here. Even if there were so many martial arts grandmasters and martial emperors, the other party only needed one martial honor to wipe out all the experts in a moment. Moreover, the other party had hundreds of Supreme Realm experts and dozens of Martial Monarch Realm experts. Who else could resolve this crisis? Even the forces of the Azure Continent and the Black Continent could not resolve this crisis. Rumble. Rumble. Between heaven and earth, a terrifying demonic aura pressed down. Even if they did not make a move, the demonic aura pressure of a martial supreme and martial emperor was enough to kill all the powerhouses of Sky Dragon Empire. Countless martial artists were corroded and killed by the demonic qi. Even martial kings could only circulate their cultivation techniques to resist. If they were not careful, they would be crushed to death by the demonic qi in the sky. The Sky Cloud sect experts were helpless as they watched countless disciples being killed by the demonic qi. Divine Wind, if you don't come out, everyone in Sky Dragon Empire will be destroyed and become puppets.